You're listening to the Rich Dad Cryptoverse podcast, where the force of financial education merges with the power of cryptocurrency. Here's your host, Robb LeCount.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back this week. Welcome back to the Cryptoverse. It's Jim and Rob again, just talking about crypto. So, hey, Jim, how's your week been?
Everything's going well. How about yourself?
Awesome. It's been a down crypto week, but up in interest in projects and everything's great. So I love it. Hey, I was watching the news the other day and I didn't get an opportunity to see the whole thing or hear it, but I heard something about like there's this cross tie between what's going on in the Ukraine-Russia thing in crypto. And I should have dug into it, but of course, time.
Listen, I mean, how much time do we have? Because we could go into great detail on it. The first one that's really cool is there was a Web3 community, and they kind of came up with like an unconventional solution, crowdfunding through NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. And it was like roughly like 40 artists and NFT leaders. They had this Web3 initiative. And they're providing really, humanitarian aid. And this is the crazy part, Rob, within 30 seconds of the initial launch, the project sold out over $1 million, man, in 30 seconds. So I think as of last time I checked, it was like 600 and something ETH, like maybe like 1.7 million in trading volume, and 100% of the primary sales are going toward the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. So I think that's pretty cool. And, you think about this whole space, man, the NFT community, it's filled with, I think, innovative and, passionate people. And this is cool to see blockchain technology, be part of this, because as we've talked about before, blockchain technology enables all transactions to be, transparent, and the public can be assured that the funds are hopefully, they're going to the people of Ukraine. So that was one that I thought was kind of cool. And then you think about other stuff that's happening. Ukraine started accepting cryptocurrencies as a means of donation. So what is today, March 2nd? So maybe 4 or 5 days ago, as Russian troops are entering Ukrainian territory in this special military, operation, the country is receiving $33 million worth of crypto donations. That's what we're at right now. And they're receiving, whether it's in Bitcoin, I think USDT, which is a stable coin. We talked about those last week, Polkadot. So, I mean, it's absolutely wild to see this millions of, of dollars, being donated to the Ukrainian war effort, through these anonymous donations, and some of this money has been spent. I read too in another article on thermal imaging, contraptions and drones and just all this other military equipment that the Ukrainian army can really use. So I like this too, but you see there's like a split here, because you have detractors, and I think they're looking at this war, and you may have seen this because this has been in the news, and people that are not into crypto, they're not into blockchain technology, and they're disparaging this, and they're saying that Russia and Putin, that he's kind of going to be using this as a means to skirt the sanctions that are going to be levied against them. So I find it super interesting that we see that, but I love the fact that crypto, if you take something good, the silver lining in this, nobody wants war, we want peace. But you're looking at crypto becoming a more mainstream part of the global financial system. And I see this war that, they're embroiled in, and I see crypto coming to the forefront of that. So it's kind of neat, and people are turning to with, banks and stuff. The Ukrainian people, they're worried about all of the chaos that has ensued, and it's really difficult to rely on these traditional centralized banks. And we talked about that, last week, and people being fearful of surveillance and things like that. So a relatively decentralized, anonymous system where, the government really isn't intervening is kind of cool. I also saw trading on the Ukrainian crypto platform Kuna, I think it reached its highest level since like somewhere like May or June of last year. So I thought that was, kind of neat. So in the midst of this war, you're seeing crypto, like both sides of it. So some people saying, well, look at how great this is because, whether good or bad in wartime, crypto is doing what its advocates said it does, giving people a way to work around or outside of traditional financial institutions. Yes. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon.
I don't think so either. And I mean, it is good. There's both sides, like Robert always talks about, there's three sides to a coin. And I think that you and I do definitely take the rich dad angle and stand on the edge of the coin. And you can see that there are great things that can happen. There are bad things that can happen, but the intention is to create a space where there isn't a centralized, entity looking at this and has access to everything. It gives you room to like have privacy, which is what I think people are looking for. It's disruptive.
Yeah. And you look at like even in Russia with the ruble, I mean, what is it, like a cent on the dollar? So there's been a run on the banks there. But then you look at the crypto market, like in general, and you see like Bitcoin's up like maybe 14 or 15% just in the last 7 days. Ethereum is up around 10%. So it's kind of, it's really super interesting to watch. And when you look at history, events leading up to a war, usually markets don't like uncertainty, right? They hate it.
It's fearful, right?
Yeah, but once you actually get into the war itself, usually we see sometimes markets do well. Aside from maybe like the Persian Gulf War, I think in the 20th century, for the most part, you saw markets do pretty well. Now the crypto market is pretty new since like 2009, so we don't really have a lot of hardcore data to go on, a bevy of information, but it's still interesting. And then on the other side, if you don't like, we could just even talk about the NFT market. So usually there's an inverse correlation, right? And this is good for people to know, to be cognizant of. Usually when you see the traditional crypto market up, usually we see the NFT market is down. So I always try to tell, subscribers and, people that I know in my world, I try to tell them when you see Ethereum really pump and go up, it usually means that the NFT market's going to be down. And when ETH's down, that's a good time usually to see what's going to happen in the NFT market with volume. And we've been in an NFT bull run over the course of, the past few months here. And I think that's like the fourth NFT bull run in the past year. Yeah. So, I mean, I get excited about that. I love the whole NFT space. And again, what it means, it's much bigger than these pixelated images. Right. It's going to influence and be disruptive and, voter ID, just, digital ID and, real estate, cars. And we've alluded to a lot of that stuff, but it's fun to watch all this kind of unfold, and nobody has a crystal ball. None of us, right? None of us know what's going to happen, in the future, but we can look at, past performance and trying to figure out, is that an indicator of what's going to happen in the future? But it is, again, noteworthy that Bitcoin is up like 14 or 15%, given the uncertainty on the world stage.
Interesting. Like things don't work in the same ways you thought it would, right? Or anybody thinks it would. Like I know for a long time, like people try to use traditional technical analysis, like you would use for stocks. And I just don't know how applicable they are to projects that are, 2 weeks old.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm with you, man. Listen, you can get into TA and for people that we're talking about technical analysis. And as Rob just mentioned, and so often people can get lost in the weeds and you can go crazy and you can study all the technical analysis you want. And some people are out there and they propagate this message that they knew this was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. The market was going to tank, or the markets were really going to go up and Bitcoin's going to do this. But at the end of the day, they're indicators, but there's still uncertainty and you just don't know for sure. Exactly. So you can take it all, the totality of all of it. But I mean, hey, and listen, aside from the world stage, I don't know, like, did you see what was going on in Colorado? Did you catch that?
I know something about taxes and crypto, but again,
yeah, so
I didn't get deep in the weeds on it.
So, have you been to Colorado, by the way?
Oh yeah. And my brother-in-law lives up there, so we go up there.
Oh, is that right?
Once
All
a
right,
year.
you never told me that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, driving through the Rocky Mountains, I've only been there. Well, I've been there maybe twice, but driving through the Rocky Mountains was like breathtaking. Beautiful. Couldn't believe how beautiful it was. Oh, yeah. And a very interesting state, right? Very progressive state, very liberal state. They're slated to become the first state in the country to accept tax payments in crypto. And they'll be accepting crypto payments, and I guess that will be converted into a dollar value, which would then kind of be deposited, I guess, into the state's treasury. So that's super interesting stuff too. And I imagine we'll see more states follow suit, for taxes, any way that they can generate more, especially, as where things are at in the world. I mean, we're kind of overdue for another recession. I don't know if you think that, but I think we're a little bit overdue.
It's hard, dude, with everything that goes on in the world today. Like, it is so unpredictable. Like, I couldn't even tell you, you can get news from both sides of this.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right.
The best time of the century. It's the worst time. It's hell on earth. Who knows what it's going to be? It just changes. Like, the world is becoming like crypto, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. That's a good way to put it. The volatility.
Yeah.
Just like what? Yeah. And there's really, at the end of the day, people would say hey, Bitcoin is like a safe haven. I'm seeing all these articles now. Well, I guess Bitcoin's not the safe haven that people thought it was. And I'm like, well, where in the world right now is really safe, really financially, to invest? Obviously physical real estate. I'm a big fan of, virtual real estate, as I know you are, and what that means for the future. Do you see the, was it not JP Morgan? It was Morgan Stanley. So Wall Street behemoth Morgan Stanley, they gave an $8 trillion valuation to the metaverse in what they see in the future. That's trillion, not billion, trillion.
That's incredible.
Brother, that's insanity. So I'm going, how do people look at this and go, you're seeing these traditional institutions, and I think Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, I think Goldman Sachs gave a similar valuation, but I'm like, how do you not see where some of this is headed? And we could spend time here. I could give you just example after example. Like last week, we're talking about McDonald's. This week, it was trademarks with Monster Energy. I don't drink any of that crap. I don't know if you do. No. Oh God, that stuff's I would never put that stuff in my body, but Monster Energy with some trademarks for the metaverse, and L'Oreal. Did you see that cosmetic company? So, I mean, you got to see what's happening all around us. Companies are pouring into the metaverse. My wife was watching not to digress too much, my wife was watching a Gucci documentary last night, and she's not as into crypto as I am, but she finds some of it interesting. And she's watching. I'm like, hon, do you understand Gucci and they're in the sandbox and metaverse? And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? Exactly. But it's in a few years, people won't be saying that anymore.
No. And I'm happy where we are at. Jesus, that's hard to say. I'm happy where we're at, and I'm happy that we get to share where we're at. And I'm hopefully that people get as excited as I know I am. I know you are. They just do research, get engaged. It's fun. And I would be a bummer to let this pass by. It's an opportunity for everybody, like every project. Absolutely. Not every project's for everyone, but I will tell you, there is a project for everyone. Like, there's really nothing in crypto that's not accessible to pretty much anybody with a technology.
Yeah. Access. Yeah. I hope, I think in the future, we're going to see with just the myriad of thousands and thousands of projects, I'm of the mindset, the belief that I don't think maybe 90% of them won't be around in 5 years, maybe less than 5 years.
Yeah, maybe more, a higher percentage.
Maybe more, right? I'm being conservative, right?
Yeah.
So you look at that, maybe 1,200 out of the thousands will be around, or maybe less. Maybe it is around 1,000. Who knows?
10,
and
right?
Man. Yeah.
And who knows? Look at the gaming market. I mean, look at social media. Yeah. Look at all these things. They sort of converge down to a group of 5 or less. Typically, is what I noticed. That's true. And that's why I'm getting to the point, and I think you concur, you just have to be so careful with what you're investing in and know who you're, where you're, reading, getting your information from, what you're analyzing, and stick with stuff that looks like it's going to be blue chip. I mean, even go back to the .com bubble, right? A lot of those companies, pets.com. You use that term a lot. Can you explain blue chip?
All right. So yeah, so a blue chip, whether it be in the traditional, stock market, in the crypto market, blue chip would mean something that has long-term value. So a blue chip cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, that it's going to stand the test of time, or we believe it is. And it's something that's worth holding through the ups and downs and the tumultuous times that we see in the stock, in the market itself, and whatever is happening in the world, that you kind of know this is going to be here in a few years, or we think it is. Hey, the crypto space changes so rapidly, and we always try to touch on that. But these are the things that you want to, hold on to and have in your portfolio. So and you want to have a broad section, right? I know for me, I think you should have these blue chip or long-term holds, but you should also maybe have some riskier. I like to have some more lower cap plays. When Bitcoin goes up, and then these other altcoins like Ethereum, and I mentioned DOT before, and whether it be Solana or Luna, they eventually start to take off. But when you see these lower cap gems, you try to find them, they're super risky, because as high as they can go up right quickly, and you can make, great returns, is just as quickly as you could see all of that dissipate and they go right into the, in the tank. So you just got to be careful, but yeah, try to have a broad range.
That's awesome. So you touched on some, like last week we talked about decentralized finance.
Right.
I think that we did a good job, but maybe like now that we've talked about some centralized finance, and the Ukraine sort of story is like the combatants between centralized and decentralized, right? Like the awfulizing of, hey, we're donating money to people in Ukraine using cryptocurrency. Yeah. Illegally, or is it illegal? You know what I mean? And it's going to be the fight between centralized and decentralized. And I think that we should probably get a little deeper into what decentralization is in the crypto market, and why it is important to combat centralization, or why people gravitate to it.
No, I love it, man. I'm a voracious reader too, and this is not. I think it was. It's more sociological, but the author's premise was that we underteach by 8 times. So when we hear something, we think we get it, but it's important that we reiterate and rehash those things that we learn. So it's always good to hear things over and over again before we really get it. And I think especially some of this crypto vernacular and terminology, the whole nomenclature, it can put people off a little bit because it's so foreign. So when you hear things like centralization and decentralization, so when we're talking about like centralization, we're talking about, like you said earlier, like central entities that, there's like a middleman. And transacting payments between people, think of something like Venmo or PayPal, right? That's like more centralized. It's an entity, right, that is controlling what is happening between the transactions. So it's not really peer-to-peer. So when you look at what DeFi does is it moves all the things that we can do in like traditional finance and, stock exchange, banks, payment processors, lending, borrowing, all that. And it brings it to a decentralized world where it's not owned by anybody, but it's really kind of controlled by everyone at the same time. And I like to think, I was thinking even more this week, and I'm a visual guy. I don't know about you. Are you a visual guy too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very much so. But just even analogies, I think, and anything in the space to try to put meat and just try to, flesh things out. I think it's important. So you look at, like, I was thinking of like even Wikipedia, right? And there are thousands and thousands of people around the globe that can fact check or edit all of the articles on Wikipedia. So I was thinking too, and I'm going, that's like governed in a decentralized manner. I know there are people behind the scenes that started it, right? But for all intents and purposes, people can go in there and fact check and they can edit things.
Correct.
But I don't know about you, but for me, I'd much rather have thousands of like different people and fact checkers versus just one centralized party, or team that is kind of monitoring all of that. So say, for example, like CNN, right? They may have their own agenda, or they're liberal, and say Fox News, and they're going to be more conservative. You kind of want to hear everything, right? So I kind of think that's a good analogy, like the Wikipedia, in terms of that, like almost in a sense being pretty decentralized. I love the concept behind it. And that's why it really took off and went viral and is what it is today. So in DeFi, you're essentially, like, to really distill it and put it into simpler terms, you're pretty much like, you become almost your own bank. For the first time, you're actually able, like, to control your money, to be able to really operate borderlessly. You can send money freely, really, to anybody across the globe. It gives you access to a 24/7 global economy, which is beautiful. Yeah. So you no longer have to wait, yeah, man, I love it. Absolutely. So you don't have to wait right in the bank. Like, you go to the bank and I got to get this out. I got to get this done before Friday, and it's going to take a couple of days. You don't need the traditional banking world, and you're not going to be paying these exorbitant, transaction fees, only to send the wire and, I don't know, to somebody that's going to take like multiple days to get there. And hopefully the transaction goes through. So I think, in this essence, traditional finance has been great, right, for a long time. But I think really the future, to a large extent, is going to be decentralized banking. It's going to look different than it does today. And I know that. And we said that last week, man. There are a lot of risks, and there are a lot of issues that need to be addressed and really rectified. So it's new. And anytime there's anything new, there's going to be, some growing pains.
Yeah.
So
I think it's fair to say that that the traditional financial market was not built to be as scalable as it needed to be. It sort of hit a peak. That's why you're talking about, hey, it might take 2 to 3 days for a transaction to go through, or you have to have something reviewed or whatever. It's not like the planet's getting smaller and we're getting less people by the day. As it grows, those things will get slower over time. They'll get more expensive over time. And I do think that, like, the DeFi market is sort of built in a way that allows for scalability infinitely, or maybe not, because you do see that problem with, like, Ethereum, right? Ethereum struggles because it's sort of slow, it's expensive, but they're evolving through that. And I think that what you're talking about is a lot of the risk comes in is because we're talking about the forefront of something that's being created, not trying to improve something that was already there, right?
Yeah, that's excellent. That's a great way to put it. I love that. And that's true, man. And you're bringing up like Ethereum. I know, 2.0, when's that actually when's that going to happen? And hopefully alleviate some of the congestion issues, on their blockchain. When you have, I know for me and you do like an NFT mint, or a couple of things are going on at the same time. If they coalesce at the same time, you're going to pay these, huge, expensive transaction fees that nobody wants to pay. So once they make it more scalable and, more transactions can happen at one time, and you're lowering the fees, and there's a lot more to it with layer 2s and, sidechain. I'm not going to get into all that,
it's
but
so easy.
Too easy with crypto, way too easy.
All right. So, like, last week, we touched a little bit on smart contracts. We've actually talked about them a few times. But again, repetition, it's practice, right? Like, I think we should talk about it again, because it's pretty vital in a lot of the major blockchains that smart contracts are sort of the way of the future. And now they're evolving smart contracts is what I'm noticing, right? They're adding more utility to smart contracts, more accessibility, whatever it might be, whether it's Avalanche or Phantom or whatever. They're sort of still, like, from my perspective, there's still smart contract networks where Bitcoin's not, right? Bitcoin is not a smart contract network. So, like, can we talk a little bit deeper on smart contracts? Because I think I understand them pretty well, but I know you understand them far better.
Nah, man, and again, like, we're trying to make this, and I love what you say to me all the time. Like, we want to make, wasn't there like a TV show, like, about, like, are you smarter than a fifth grader or something like that? There was a show back in the day. And so that's always in my head. Like, how do we convey information in a digestible, palatable manner that people go, oh, I kind of get that? Because if you just go online and just go Google smart contract, and what it is, and you'll get a myriad of definitions, and then you're going to be, you get lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you could be more confused. So simply put, man, it's computer code that can't be changed, but can be seen by everybody. So this is a smart contract, is a very transparent agreement. So just like you have agreements in the real world, now you can have them in the form of computer code. And let's just say, for example, that, you want to send a transaction, instead of you wiring the money, right, it goes to the bank, the third party or the centralized system. Then your bank goes and they take the money and they send it to that person that you want to send it to. In the world of DeFi, right, decentralized finance, we have smart contracts, which is basically just an agreement. It's a piece of code that says, hey, I'm sending this money. It's going to this person, and it's going directly peer to peer. That's the world of DeFi. And that's what makes it so beautiful, that the predetermined conditions, and once they're met, the contract kicks into place. Does that help?
Yes, it helps a lot. And it makes me think of one thing, and I don't want to be disparaging against like anything really, but like when you say something smart, then you already assume that there's a dumb version of it.
I wasn't going to say it, man. I was just thinking it too. I can't believe we didn't say it last time, but I'm going, so the other contracts are kind of dumb, and I don't usually say that.
If you think about it from an efficiency standpoint, they are. Like, if you and I had an agreement, you and I have to meet in person or share a document back and forth that's put together by a lawyer, right?
Yeah,
that's not efficient. How long does that agreement take versus one where we create a smart contract?
It's so true.
It doesn't make it stupid. It just makes it non-efficient. How's that?
I love it, man. Non-efficient. That's a great way to put it. That's
well, speaking of which, if we're going to talk about efficient versus non-efficient, we might as well talk about what the sort of correlation or the differences between decentralized and centralized are. Like, why is one better than the other? Or maybe one's not better than the other, but how are they different?
Yeah. So, I'm thinking, it might be important to actually talk about even like centralized and decentralized like exchanges. I don't think we've delved into that. So again, we're giving up. This is all DeFi drip that we're giving you here. And you look at there's a huge difference. Like, so as we're outlining this, of the differences between centralized and decentralized, there are exchanges in the crypto world that they're online platforms that you can go to that are centralized, and you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies. And they are, I guess you could say, the most common means by which investors use to buy and sell, crypto holdings. So the whole notion of centralization, right? Again, we're removing that third party. We're removing the middleman. There's no intermediary. So buyers and sellers alike, they're trusting in a centralized crypto exchange. You're trusting the middleman to handle the assets. So it's important for people to understand that. So this is like common in like a bank setup, where we trust the bank to hold our money, right? And the bank offers us security and, things that we, they monitor things that we can't, accessibility, things that we can't really, do on our own. So that would be a centralized exchange. Now you can go to the other side there, and then you have a decentralized exchange, or maybe I should even just say some examples. A centralized exchange that if you're looking to get involved in, the crypto world and you want to start somewhere, you can onboard, fiat or money and set up an account on places like Coinbase. Remember, they had an ad in the Super Bowl. KuCoin is another really good centralized exchange, and then Binance. So those are just three, and there are definitely more. At the end of the day, though, this is what's interesting, and people get mad at me probably if I don't get into this. But when you store your crypto on an exchange, you don't have access. You don't own, in a sense. You don't have what they call a private key, and that's like just a secret number that is used in cryptography, like similar to a password. Yep. So those are really owned by the centralized exchange. So they really, in essence, they own your coins. But what you own is I guess, in a sense, a promise from the exchange that they're going to give you your coins when you ask for them, when you want to sell them, in the same way that you would have for, real money in a real tangible bank in the world. So if you don't own your private keys, you don't own your coins. So that's why a lot of times people go, well, don't keep your coins on these centralized exchanges. So I don't want to get too deep into that, but I think it's important. I think it's worth mentioning. And then you have on the other side, you have a decentralized exchange. And I'll just be quick with this. A type of exchange where, again, like we keep saying and reiterating, there's no third party. So they're called DEXs, right? Decentralized exchanges, a DEX. You hold your assets instead of entrusting them to a third party like a bank. So again, you're cutting out the middleman. These are blockchain-based apps that coordinate large-scale trading of crypto assets between many users, and they do that. And you can stop me here, but they do this through automated algorithms instead of like a conventional approach of acting as the financial intermediary between buyers and sellers. So an algorithm, when I say the algorithms that the DEXs are using, those are examples of smart contracts that we said before. So when something predetermined conditions are met, that's what we're talking about with these algorithms. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the assets are never held by an escrow service, right? Or a third party.
No, they're programmed into the contract.
They're programmed in, man. It's pieces of code that are written on top of blockchain networks like Ethereum, and they trigger various outputs, when given certain inputs. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much, man. And like some examples of this, like Uniswap, like their version 3 protocol, I think as of maybe like last week, they were handling somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2 billion in trading their volume on some days. That was according to like, maybe it was CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. I don't know, one of them. So, I mean, they manage around 3 times the volume of some like their closest competitors. Kind of neat too. The guy that like started that, I guess like he lost his job or something. And a few years ago, he started Uniswap. I don't remember exactly where he was working. And there's always more to the story, but I thought it was kind of neat. Here's this guy, and how much money is this guy worth today after starting this decentralized exchange, this platform for people? So that was kind of cool.
I know that's the heart and soul of crypto, right? Disruption.
Yeah, man. That's yeah, man. And that's fine. Listen, come on. That's finance. That's the world. When you look at any invention, like through the course of history, even move outside of the financial realm, anything that's disruptive, whether it's, the cotton gin, right? I'm going back a few centuries, but anything and how it's disruptive and what it does to an economy or different modalities. Yeah.
See, and it goes back to our earlier definition of smart versus dumb, right? Like I look at smart versus dumb in this context is what's efficient and what's inefficient, what can serve more and what can't, what's limited, right? And that's sort of what we're looking at here is we're looking at a more efficient, faster, less connected to humans, right? Because you get like, you buy a house, you put your money in escrow, you have escrow officers, you have there's just a myriad of people involved in this, which is inefficient. And
absolutely, man.
It just gives us a great pathway to hopefully greater scale and ease of access, I guess, is what this is hopefully going to provide. Well, since we talked about DEXs, and what's funny is centralized exchanges, do they even have an acronym? I mean, SEXs sounds weird.
CFI, I hear people say not for like just for centralized finance, you hear CFI for a centralized exchange. Yeah, let's make one up right now, man. Right. Let's do it.
It's got to be the
you got a sex, and everybody's like, what?
What can we talk about? So I first got in, and I did start in a centralized exchange. Like everybody really probably is going to start in a KuCoin or Coinbase. Everybody knows about it. I mean, Coinbase is public, right? So it has the illusion of being safer, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's also a lot more centralized than a lot of crypto likes to be, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, but there are other things like Metamask and wallets and all this other stuff. And I think the next like little piece we should talk about is like the Metamask piece, like getting stuff out of like a Coinbase and actually making it more tradable, I guess, on other networks. And Metamask, in my point of view, is probably the best tool to do it. But
Yeah, I'm totally with you, man. And you think about it, like you're saying, MetaMask. Well, this is how you connect, right? So how do you connect to this amazing world of decentralized finance, DeFi? And that's like, you have to set up what's known as a MetaMask wallet. And to really try to keep, things super simple, it's like your decentralized bank account. I guess that's the way you could really look at this, and setting one up. And in doing it, you set one up and you're going to have like a public address, and the public address is going to be think like an email address, except it's for your bank account, right? So it's your bank account address. And if actually, I'll just share my screen, and I'm going to go, super simple here. And I can't go through all the detail. And I know some people are going to be listening to this, this kind of show. And let me see where I am right here. Let me go back. Yeah. So in sharing my screen, let me just show you. Okay. So if I pulled this up and you were looking to get a MetaMask wallet, and you're like, Jim, Rob, what's MetaMask? So this is a digital wallet that you would use to connect, right? And what I would want you to do, so those people listening and you can't see, you would just go to the Chrome web store here, right? And this is an extension. So Brave is actually, it's safer, right? It's faster, but you can use just Chrome too. I put this up here to show people. So what you would do here from this point is you would add this. So if I add to Brave, okay, I'm going to add the extension.
And by the way, can we acknowledge something really quick?
Yeah, sure, man.
If you want to really look at how awesome crypto is, just look at the amount of users on that page that are using this extension for Chrome. Can you go back to that other page real quick? The other tab?
Oh, you know what? Oh, wait, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at the amount of users.
Yeah, go ahead. That's a great point.
A lot of people.
Yeah, I should probably have said too, always be careful, like in the crypto world, man. I can't tell you how many times I get horror stories of people that clicked on links. They really weren't careful. This isn't some scammy, like imitation MetaMask. You see here, right? It's saying, 10,000, a ton of users. Look at all the reviews here. So, this is the real deal. This is the real MetaMask. But Rob, that's a great point to point that out. So from here, you would just click on get started. So if you can't see, it's super simple what I just did. It's going to prompt you to hit get started. And then you would create a wallet. So, no, I already have a secret recovery phrase. I'm not getting into that. You'll have two options when you look at this. So you would set one up. You want to create a wallet. And, it gives you MetaMask will. You can go through those things and you're going to agree. And then you would set up a wallet. And this is where I'll just show you. You know what? I'll just do it anyway. So if I set up a wallet, and I'll just do something really simple, right? And you're going to have to put a password in. So I've read everything, and then I put a password in. Okay. Now here's the thing that you hear horror stories about this too. People, a lot of times they either take pictures of their passwords on their app, on their phone, on their Android or their iOS. Do not do that. No. You are to write down, right? You're to write down your password in a safe place, have copies of it, put it in a safe location. And we talked about this last week too, with our spouses knowing. So make sure you put it in a safe location that, you'll know where this is. You'll know where to find it.
Go
ahead, man. Go ahead.
Just to show the level of importance of this, because I want everybody to know how important it is to protect this stuff. Like I said, I think it was last week or the week before, I have a safe in my friend's safe at a different house in a different community, just to ensure, like, if my community burned down, that's how important these are. I want to protect them. Mm-hmm. I don't have my social security card there. I don't have my extra credit cards. I have my keys to all my wallets.
Yeah.
So it's really important.
You're your own bank, right? So you have to, it's not like, hey, I lost my password, I lost my bank account number. Like, you have to it's incumbent upon you to be responsible with that. So you go from there, your password. So if you ever lost your password, here's the deal, right? So you get to set up what's known as a secret recovery phrase. So again, if you can't see, you'll get a list of words. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 words. Some wallets you'll have to, there's going to, the phrase is going to be longer than that. There'll be more words.
I think.
24. Some are. It's annoying too, but hey, I get it for protection.
I noticed.
Yeah. So for the MetaMask one, you would write down all 12 of these words. You would keep that with your password. So if you lose your password or whatever, the only way to get back you have to keep this recovery phrase somewhere written down, again, as Rob and I are saying, in a very safe location. And that I'm going to end here, because then once you do this here, it's going to say, did you write all this down? And then you're going to have to just put them in order. And it's great that they do that, because they're making sure that you actually, wrote down those words. And then your wallet is going to be set up, and your app, you're actually going to you'll see a reel. So I have tons of wallets. Rob, how many wallets do you even have? I mean, I don't even.
Lots. I don't even keep track of it.
Yeah, I have a lot of wallets too. So here's a wallet that I just set up for our purposes here, and I don't even know what's in here. So this like $3.27 in this wallet. Right here, you'll see, and if you can't see, it's going to say under account, and you can have multiple accounts, in a wallet. But if you click on this where it says account, this is the address I said before, almost like an email address or your bank account address. That's what this would be. And you can see here, you'll see where you can send funds, you can swap and buy, and I'm not going to get into all that, but we can do that maybe another time. Or there's plenty of tutorials online. And Rob, maybe we can link something, right?
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? Like, let's throw the getting started MetaMask piece, and we'll throw it in the description for the video. And also, just full disclosure, anybody out there that might be a little hacky in the crypto world, Jim's not going to ever use this address. So you can copy his passphrase all you want, and you're not going to get a spot.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And I know people, right? Yeah, the world we live in is absolutely.
I will bet you anything insane. Somebody tries to import that wallet. I will bet you anything. I don't know how we would know it, but I bet you somebody will try and do it.
Hey, take the $3.27 if you could try to. Could try to get
enjoy.
It. Yeah, but I always tell people that even with my NFTs too. So in multiple wallets, I use cold storage, and that's something else too. I have a Nano X. You want to put things in a hardware wallet as opposed. So that's a hot wallet. Yeah. So the MetaMask wallet is considered is hot. But yeah, so hey, listen, I'll stop there. Maybe you want to, we could finish up maybe talking about some stuff.
Let's knock out our what projects are interesting right now. I think we sort of have a convergence of interest on this one for the first time. All right, I'm you're sucking me over into this NFT universe and lulling me in with all of your NFT isms. So let's
all right,
go ahead and chat about what are you looking at right now? What are your
all right? So this is a little different than in prior weeks, but we had talked about Clementine's Nightmare.
Oh yeah,
right, and that was maybe on the first show, and they had their reveal today, right? So they had their reveal, and I think the art looks super slick. I mean, I'm impressed with the team. I'm impressed with the project, the roadmap, their vision. So the game isn't going to be out for a while, and they're going to deliver the game when it's ready. And Rob, this is a team that maybe down the road I'd like to have on the show to talk to one of the guys from their team and hear about this project that has garnered a lot of attention in the space. Now, the floor price drop, which usually happens after a reveal. So you can see here, this is OpenSea. If you're what site are we on here? So you can buy and sell NFTs. You can see it gives you the amount of items. It tells you how many owners are here. And this is the floor price. And then you go through here and you can see Trade Sniper is great if you want to add that extension too, but that's for another day. But this was one.
Thank you.
Get Trade Sniper. Look, so it's telling me what the floor is, and it's telling me this is a common.
Got it.
But you know what? Hold that for a second, because how about this? Let me go to. There are actually. Let me move this out of the way.
By the way, for everybody that sees this, WGMI says we're going to make it. Just so everybody knows what the acronyms for.
There are two services that I just wanted to bring to the attention of the audience too. You just said it, right? So I don't know if you know this, man, but there are services. So this one, we're going to make it .io. They provide a number of services to help its users tools to aid in analysis and quality of life in the NFT space. And this one's really cool. You can track valuation of any combination of wallets you own based on project or trait floors. It also provides NFT analysis tools, including project activity, floor gaps, trait floor gaps, and historical data. So this is a cool site to you have to subscribe to this, but I've used this and I think it's pretty cool, man. Some of the stuff you can do, and it gets overwhelming trying to follow everything. And the other one, just really quickly, since you brought it up, no, here it is right here. Sorry, I hit the wrong link. Nope, here it is, NFT Nerds. And I love the name for this, but yeah, these are NFT Nerds. If we can get it to come up. Yeah, so it says trading NFTs. So you can define your target price and a collection and get notified as soon as a matching NFT is listed. I use it. These are like tricks to the trade. So there are certain tools that you want to have in your toolkit that could be really helpful. You can choose like auto trigger, a buy intent, turn on a sound notification. They have really fast metadata and rarity reveals. So I guess, finding rare NFTs soon after the collection is revealed, official rarity ranks, really cool stuff that they have here. So you can track live floor movement and volume. So NFT Nerds, man, and we're going to make it.io. They're a little different, the platforms, but I think that if you're into NFTs, you can make, people have made a killing just using these tools at getting a head step, seconds, 30 seconds, 5 seconds ahead of the competition. Super helpful. So I'm just throwing that one in there. All right. And then, down. Oh, you're writing those down. Yeah, those are pretty good. I can even share those later on. Right. Oh, wait. And then my last one, I'm sorry. I promise I'll be quick on this. My last one was Antonym, that both of us, Rob and I, are both into this project. Now, this one just minted yesterday. Yeah. And the NFT market. So if I let's check actually up to date with the floor price is. Ooh, the floor price went up a little bit. So the floor price is right around 1 ETH. If this launched in a bull market, the floor price is significantly higher. In my opinion, I'm using the term again, Rob. This is a blue chip project. This is a long-term hold. For me in buying into this. I love the team. We mentioned this like a month ago, over a month ago. Yep. Love the team, love the roadmap, the House of Phygital. You're going to be getting a physical collectible at some point, down the road that is connected to the digital collectible that you have in the form of an NFT. So, and listen, I think these guys are going to get collaborations with, companies in the, clothing brands or just, whatever. So I'm excited about this one.
Actually, go ahead. It's funny too, because I want to share something.
I'll stop share. Yeah.
A little bit. No, share.
You want me to share my screen again? Okay.
Yeah. I want you to scroll down to what the NFTs look like at this point, because this is something else that's sort of interesting.
Yeah. Not revealed NFTs, yet. Right.
Yeah.
See if we can get them up.
Reveal. Right. So right now, we have minted NFTs, but right now this whole visual presentation is showing how they're being created, and we have to wait to even know what the heck we got. It can be super frustrating. Sometimes you don't know when the reveals happen, but just know the reason they all look alike right now is because we don't even know what we got. We have no idea.
Yeah, and that's the game that people play, right? So I mint one and you mint one, right, yesterday. So we mint one and you don't know, do I have a common? Do I have a rare? Because if you have one that's really rare in the whole set, it's going to be worth significantly more. So it's this whole game of, do I sell now and do I buy back in later? Do I hold now and hope that I get a rare one that's going to be quite, lucrative? It's going to be worth a lot of money. So that's the whole game. And once you reveal it, if you have a common and the floor price maybe drops, you're going, oh, why didn't I sell when the floor price was higher? So that's the, the tension of living in in that world, but that's what makes it fun too.
Right now you can go to OpenSea, and for 0.93 ETH, which is right around $2,500, $2,600, you can buy a scratcher ticket. Is what you have right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So people right now don't have either they don't have the confidence or whatever, and why they're not holding it to at least find out what they got. I've never understood, but the fact that you can almost have to now pay $3,000 for the chance to get something that legendary, ultra, whatever terminology the project uses. Yeah. People are selling the scratcher ticket, it feels like. And I feel sorry for them. Like I sort of want to buy another one from them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
and
man.
that's like
but great project.
Yeah, that's
great project.
Rich Dad motto, though, right? These people that are selling them on this artificial floor because they have no idea what they got.
Right.
For people like us, I see as an opportunity, right? Like I'm like, am I willing to pay like $3,000 for a second one, or do I want to wait for a public auction? Like, there's just so many options, and it's about your risk tolerance. It's about the amount of knowledge you have, the time you've spent with the project. There's a myriad of things that like give you the evidence that you should do what you do next. And I hate to use the word gut, because gut is extremely based on your experience, your knowledge, your effort, and your risk tolerance, right? So
no, man, you nailed it. I don't need to say anything. You nailed it.
Awesome. All right, Jim, I think we're done.
Hey, man, always fun connecting. Always fun talking all things crypto. Love it, man. Love DeFi. Hope people are enjoying us, delving, digging, getting into the DeFi drip.
Me too. Hey, and don't forget, we appreciate whoever was willing to listen to us ramble. We love you guys. We're just trying to share our knowledge and have fun because we love to talk. And just remember, we'll always share some links. Who knows what it's going to be in our show description, our show notes, wherever it might be. Just click around. It's just like crypto. You never know what you're going to find.
All right, brother.
All right. Have a great week.
You too, man. Be well.